So, my inspiration for it actually came from some of the elements that came about in in the Dragon Ball universe, and that was um, we always kind of view that you have to be like an organic kind of person to be strong. There's
Hmm.
no reason you would think that like, a robot could be of any strength or anyone who is like a smart scientist. Like the instinct was like when Frieza came along, like when the androids were mentioned,
Hmm.
people are like, "Really? We're talking about robots being stronger than Frieza who can blow up planets? If people can build robots that could destroy planets, then it would be way more common than what it was." So that was kind of my logic, is that I
Okay.
wanted to gear towards the people of intelligence in the anime world that could potentially bring the solution to the problem in my universe.
All
Um,
right.
so
So, so I guess what
so
was your prep like? So the bad guys were taking the intelligence people. Like, what was the premise that you were gonna do?
so whenever I had picked like Omega Shenron
Hmm.
as like one of my antagonists, I had thought of him because I had wanted to make some sort of connection between like the Dragon Balls, because I believe that was one of the items that I had picked.
You got the Pokemon balls.
Yeah, well, I definitely. Oh, you see, if two down, I had the Dragon Balls there as well. I wanted I wanted Omega Shenron to have some sort of, I don't want to say control over Zamasu, but like since Zamasu's story was tied with the Super Dragon Balls a
Hmm.
lot, and Omega Shenron is just the evil incarnation of wishes. Like I saw some sort of connection there. Why I wanted like Omega Shenron to either control Zamasu, or like Zamasu be able to use what he's done with the Super Dragon Balls, but then have the Shadow Dragons as his like henchmen. So that's kind of where that started. And then I just started picking like Malo Myotismon. I needed some sort of evil demonic motherfucker. Um, but so that was the tie-in with that. But then whenever I started getting like smart people, um, as you can see, you got Seto, Professor Oak. The reason why I picked like Professor Oak also went coincided with obviously the Pokeballs,
Hmm.
but then it also connected back to like one of the ways in which they were trying to fight Zamasu back
Mm.
in Super, whenever they were using the evil containment wave.
Hmm.
So I was pondering. I was like, okay, if I can get Professor Oak in there, and he creates some sort of device mimicking like a Pokeball that could capture uh, someone as strong as Zamasu or like Omega Shenron. That's where I was trying to make some sort of connections there, and then um but I didn't know if that was going to be the way in which I was going to like gear the story towards, because then the other smart people, then I was thinking of, like I picked a Raven, for example.
Hmm.
Like, and then I'm thinking, can I get some sort of like mech in which another character aside from Goku could contribute to fight these guys?
Hmm.
Sort of the mech in which, um, the God of Destruction for like Universe 3,
Hmm.
I think. He's a God of Destruction, and he's running around in a mech suit, just fighting people. Just it's just how it is. So, but I wanted Raven to be my pilot. It was either him or Brad. Like those were the serious, stone faced, like straight edge kind of guys that like I was wanting. Um, and then the other individuals who were good with that kind of tech, Seto building freaking blue eyes jet dragons, flying them around and shit
Oh.
like that, or Doctor Briefs and all the stuff he's ever done. And then whenever I picked Washu, for example, I know absolutely nothing about her. Like zero shit. Couldn't tell you right now where she was from, where she was. But whenever I Googled who was the smartest motherfuckers in anime, It was probably Screen Rant. God forbid it was like who, who's the one that we bash?
Oh, comicbook.com.
Yeah, comicbook.com or like CBR. It's
CBR, yeah,
CBR.
they're ass. They're ass.
CBR. Their ass. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it was their top 10 list that I stumbled upon. Shame on me, regardless. But I saw her name and I was like, you know what? I'm taking. I'm taking. I'm calling it a day. So that's where
Oh.
that's where that kind of was going. Um, and then I'll be honest with you, whenever I picked Gunther or like like or
Well,
let's
you
see.
picked this guy just from the meme from
Yeah, so
Yu-Gi-Oh! From Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos.
yeah, like Kuhei, and I couldn't get his. I don't I don't know the relationship. I don't know. I know they throw salt at demons and just just they
Oh.
troll a lot. But the one problem that I was running into with my universe was trying to coherently connect the the strength of the characters from the Dragon Ball universe down to something that's like, that of like Zoids, for example, or like
Hmm.
Pokemon. And um, aside from making wishes with the Dragon Balls, I that's really hard to try and, you know, um, normalize or scale the differences in powers back to each other. I could have copied what they were doing in Daima for all the Dragon Ball listeners out there or any
Damn,
Daima
man's
listeners.
plugging his own shit.
Yeah, this is how you beat Jacob, and you got to plug yourself any chance you get. So, but but yeah, that was kind of the gist. Again, I apologize for someone who wanted maybe the first three chapters, but
No, I think we get the gist of your story. I mean, smart people help strong person deal with evil
it's
across the.
not. Yeah, sometimes work smarter, not harder, or sometimes just brute strength of Goku is just it can't get you out of every
Yeah.
single. So
And then like the Zoid people, I mean, they don't have to like. I mean, they can fight like Gunter and like fight mini evil
hmm
Zoids and all that. And they can be busy. The side characters can be doing that. And then Goku. Then you got Jiren down there
yep.
too, and they could be fighting the big boys. And then all the smart people. Because I will say you do got a lot of like smart people on your squad.
Yeah, it was the main focus I tried to do. Like, was if 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 you can get a 36 on your ACT, you were on my team, all right?
God, a 30, Jesus, a 36.
I think that's a max still. I don't think it's changed.
I don't think it is. Well, good,
Don't
good.
ask me what the SAT is. I'm too damn dumb.
Well, good shit, Mitch. Good shit. That was actually a lot better than I thought your shit was gonna be.
That's crazy.
Me too. Me too. Byron, I appreciate you having high hopes, man.
Say it again.
I said I appreciate you having high hopes for me.
You know, got high hopes for everyone.
You're
Oh
good, man.
man.
You're good,
All
man.
right, JJ, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Take it away.
All right. So after the events of my season one, my season two obviously leads straight from there. After the events, Rengoku heads back to his village and clan, reflects on the deaths of his friends and family that happened in the battle before. Before entering the village, as Death stops him and lets him know that she will no longer be coming with him, and that she is going to go train, and he should do the same. Sukuna was the strongest of us all, yes, but he also kept us in line. Without him, there's no one to control any of the demons. As Rengoku hears this, he realizes that he barely survived the last major battle and only did so because his father and grandfather held off the major threat while he was just handling to get his revenge. He enters the village with one thing in mind: to find the greatest teacher of the Shadow Clan, Higan. After speaking with Higan, he begins training with him immediately for months. Higan lets him know that he clearly has great amount of power, which is no surprise given his lineage. but you have no idea how to wield your power. Also, the weapon you use is no better than an amateur's. I can let you know of a blacksmith who lives north of the village, in a cave at the base of a mountain outside the village of Griffith. His name is Godot. He built the weapons of your father, your grandfather, and your cousin. On the way to the village, Rengoku encounters many low level demons, but notices his skill with his sword is greatly improved. But his skill with his flames has not. He makes it to the village, and as he walks in, he hears people talk about a woman who wields a new type of weapon that kills demons almost as effectively as a sword. He walks up to the mountain, enters the cave, and asks to speak with Godot. Godot is greatly surprised that Rengoku has seek to find him, given his relationship with his family. He says, "I will only make you a sword if I find that you are worthy. The only way to be worthy is to prove that you are willing to protect. There is a greatly strong demon, Uvojin, who has been terrorizing the village for years. If you can prove that you can defeat him, then I will make your weapon." Rengoku agrees, walks forward out of the cave, and heads back to the village. As he waits for Uvojin, he keeps hearing stories of this woman and her weapons. He walks up to he walks up to the villagers and asks if they know her name. No, if they know her name. They say, "We only call her Lady here." He's greatly intrigued by this, but thinks nothing else of it. Night falls, and he hears screams in the distance. He runs that direction, and there is Uvojin burning down a house. They begin a great battle, but as Rengoku quickly realizes, he can defend against Uvojin with his sword, but he cannot attack without his flames. The battle goes back and forth, but he's gaining no ground. He's actually realizing he's losing ground. Out of nowhere, here is a loud pop, and multiple pop, 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 pop. He looks over. There's a woman standing with some sort of mechanical device in her hands, firing at Uvojin. Uvojin's arms are bleeding, and this is the chance that Rengoku takes to slice off Uvojin's head and moves on. He walks up to this woman and asks what kind of weapons that she has. She lets him know that these are of her own making and that no one else can wield them, and leaves. Rengoku says, "Okay, that's cool." Bounces. He heads back to the cave and tells Godot that he was unable to defeat Uvojin by himself, so he would understand if he would not make his weapon for him. Godot hands over the sword and says, "I was going to give you this as soon as I realized that you were willing to do it, whether or not you had the sword." As all this is going on, Hiei is training at his new castle, learning to tame his power. As he's training, he's approached by Shiro, the last remaining pillar of his father's reign. She tells him that just because he's king does not mean he doesn't no longer face any threats. She is positive that there are many demons who are willing to take the throne. He smiles. He says, "I expect nothing less than a great battle." He cuts his arm and has a pool of blood at his feet and throws some of his black flames down at the ground and says, "Arise, Icarus." From that point forward, a man stands out of the blood, known as Icarus the Blood Knight. Somewhere in the demon world, a great demon named Doflamingo stands amongst a table with other demons and asks, "Why would we let a child rule the world when there are so many of us here that are strong?" One demon stands along Doflamingo and says, "Who would try to kill the king now when we know he's on such high guard?" Doflamingo smiles and says, "I know of a person." Rengoku is trying to figure out how he can master his flames, and as he's training with Higan, Higan looks over and asks, "I could tell that you're being burdened by something. Would you like to speak?" "My father, my grandfather, and my uncle had such great power with the flame. I can barely use any of it." Higan smiles. "I was wondering when you would ask about this. There is a man who taught all three of your relatives. His name is Mash, the great magic wielder. If you can find him, I'm sure he would train you as well." As Rengoku heads to talk to Mash, He tells Shiryo that he does not care about the throne. He only cares about the power, and he knows the greatest way of getting power is to be king. He doesn't care about any of the humans that die by demons' hands or demons that die by humans. He only cares about being the strongest. As he's talking to Shiryo, a blade with a chain attached strikes close to his head, and from the shadows you hear a man laughing. This man jumps down. He says, "Hello, I've been hired to kill you." Hiei smiles. "Well, finally, this looks like a worthy challenge." Steps forward. "My name is Toji, and many people would like you dead." Toji and Hiei battle for quite some time, neither gaining quite as much ground until Hiei starts using his power. He says, "Oh, I see. You can only use demon relics. You don't have no power yourself." Toji smiles. He says, "I did not realize that you were such a powerful foe yourself." As they continue to battle, Icarus steps forward and slays Toji. Rengoku meets with Mash, and he realizes Mash already has two students, Sanemi and Zap. Sanemi is trying to learn the power of wind, and Zap is trying to learn the power of his blood magic. The three of them spar for months, and they also talk about the demons they fought along the way. Sanemi is from a village that was attacked by a demon who can also wield blood as Zap. Zap is just from a small village and realizes he has great magical potential. As they're talking, Rengoku joins in the conversation and says, "Well, my family was killed by the previous demon lord, and I was only spared by the new one." Both of them stare and realize that Rengoku is much more of a backstory than he's letting on. As they're sitting there conversating, the demon known as Jason that killed Sanemi's family appears to finish the job, to wipe out the entire village of Sanemi. The three of them fight Jason, and he lets them know that there's no one at the helm of the demon realm right now. There is a king, but he has no rule. As the three of them fought, Sanemi exacts his revenge on Jason, and the three of them realize that the only way to stop all this terror from the demons have been during the last couple months is to get rid of the king. The three of them head to the tower that Rengoku knows where it is because of the previous battle to confront Hiei. As they walk forward, they notice a man in pink, Doflamingo. Doflamingo stands at the door, waiting. He says, "If you go to enter the fight with the king, allow me to help." Rengoku looks. It says, "You're a demon." He says, "Yes, but I don't enjoy being ruled over." So the four of them go in to fight Hiei. Icarus and Shiro are waiting at the base of the throne as Hiei sits upon it. Hiei recognizes Rengoku immediately and says, "I thought sparing your life was a gift. Clearly you're going to cause more problems than I thought." Shiro attacks Zap as Icarus attacks Sanemi. Hiei stands against Doflamingo and Rengoku. As they begin the battle, Doflamingo attacks Rengoku from behind, trying to prove his worth to Hiei. Hiei smiles and says, "You will not pull one over on me," kills Doflamingo, as he realizes that Doflamingo is the one who hired Toji. Rengoku and Hiei have a battle to find out who will end this great war between humans. Humans and demons. As Rengoku falls, he feels the flame in his heart. The passion that burns within. He summons his flame with his sword one final time and strikes down Hiei. And that is how the Smith Boyz anime season finally ends.
After the final battle happened in my season 1, Serena's the new leader of the free world. Ichigo's her right-hand man. and they are brother and sister before anyone says anything absolutely crazy. And Kenshin, the other one who came back, he is just thinking about life. He went to go train in Vegeta's universe, because Vegeta was watching from afar what happened in the final battle, because he got his new ultimate weapon. And Kenshin's just thinking about life, like, man, I found these kids, Serena and Ichigo, when they were little during the war, and who would have thought now they're basically running the world, they're the beacons of the world, everything's peaceful, everything's great. Kenshin's like, you know what, I can go on a vacation, I can go see what my mom's doing, or what Tanjiro and Yor are doing. So he's just walking, he's wandering. But, there's always evil. Just like everyone saw them win last time, evil saw them win. So in the distant universe, Frieza watched the whole fight, and he stated that he was the one who planted Lelouch into position of power so that he could fully conquer that planet without having to do something. But he didn't foresee the power of Ichigo, Serena, and Kenshin, and them making that ultimate sword for Kenshin, and Serena now having a partnership with Vegeta's world. Frieza's like, yep, we need to kill everybody. We just need to. But Frieza, we know how Frieza is. He doesn't want to directly do stuff if he doesn't have to. So he's assembling his elite task force, and each is tasked with killing a certain person in Ichigo and Serena's camp. And once they kill all 4 of those people in their camp, they're going to come take over the world, yada yada. So the camp. So from the last story, Kenshin's mom had a school. That school now has become like the beacon of the world and the universe. It's the Ruka Rengoku School for the Gifted. So just basically the RRSG. And the greatest minds, fighters, everyone comes there to teach. Everyone comes there to learn from all the different multi-verses. And you're wondering how people are traveling from this universe to this universe. That is because the valedictorian from this school, Miss Melissa Shields, she created the interdimensional travel technology that's used to travel between different universes. To Mitch's thing when he brought up Daima, for the big traveling, you do have to get a passcode to go through different universes. But for Ichigo and Serena's crew, like the Special Force, they have wristbands that they could do it. And the Special Force that I keep talking about, they report directly to Ichigo. It's basically for people who watched the X-Men. It's basically like the X-Men of anime. Like, they're all teachers, these people who were picked. They were all handpicked from different universes to be teachers. But their other job is to, like, keep everyone safe and all that stuff. So the 4 teachers, Hashirama Senju, we all know him. He teaches medicine and healing and plants. Jin Mori, he teaches martial arts. Yugi Moto teaches mystic arts and magic and defense against the dark arts. Shout out to Harry Potter. And Kira Yamato, the Gundam pilot, teaches space aviation and mechanics. So all of them work for Ichigo and Serena and the team. Now the new headmaster of the school, because Kenshin's mom is on vacation, well deserved, was recommended by Vegeta and was approved by Ruka and Serena. And he's in charge of the day-to-day operations of the school. And that person's name is Son Gohan. Vegeta recommended him because he's the smartest Saiyan, holding multiple PhDs, and he's one of the strongest Saiyans to ever exist. So you got those 4, and then you have Frieza's 4 horsemen, Akaza, Kabuto, Stain, Sergio Rogetto. Griffin isn't a 4 horseman. He just likes to tag along. He's a loyal servant. So each men's thing, they have to attack a teacher, and you got to take your teacher out. Frieza has a feeling that they're not going to be able to kill all the teachers, so he has another plan. Miss Irina Jelvac, she was recommended to the school by a unanimous source, multiple unanimous sources, basically Frieza forging letters and Frieza bullying other universes to write proper recommendations for Irina. Then he blows up their universes so they have no trace that Frieza bullied them. She's working directly with the heroes. Everyone loves her. She's bubbly, personality, things of that nature. They don't know she's a snake because she's a snake. Her main goal is to steal the risk communicators from the heroes, bring them to Frieza, reprogram them, and send each of the heroes to a different dimension which she does, and then get one of the spare ones to bring to Frieza so that he can reprogram his own, so that he could just pop into any universe he wants with his crew. Irina's successful. Gohan, Jin, and Hashirama's communicators go off. They all think something's happening. They click it. They get transported to different universes. Kira's in space, and he's like, something's going on around here. And he sees multiple portals opening up and sees Frieza's ships coming through. And without being warned, he gets shot. He tries to tell everyone they're under attack, but he can't get a hold of any of the four because Yugi, Jin, Gohan, and Hashirama are all separated. Yugi goes to a world where he's facing off against Geto. Akaza's facing off against Jin. Gohan is getting faced off against Griffin. And Senju, Hashirama, is getting faced off against Stain. And Frieza knows some of these matchups aren't in his favor, but again, he has the plan. So Kira is actually able to get a hold of Melissa, who was just casually in her office, and states that the others can't be communicated. She realizes that they've been set up. She tries to get her computer to fix the things, and then her computer gets shot by Irina, so now she can't communicate with Kira, and she realizes that they have been betrayed. So Kira is all alone in space, trying to prevent all this shit from happening, from them getting to Earth with his one Gundam. He's holding his own because he realizes this fleet is just a distraction. They're a weaker fleet. Melissa's asking Irina why she betrayed them, and Irina stated she was never on their side anyway. She was always a hired gun for Lord Frieza. And Irina does not see that Melissa tapped a button underneath her desk that sends an alert to Ichigo and Serena. They were just at a charity event. They don't know what the fuck's going on. They really don't. They're just, doing stuff for the kids, all that. They get the alert. Melissa has her office always recorded, so they were able to get sent the recording of what was going on, so they're now caught up to speed. And they're like, oh, this is bad. Melissa's being held captive. Irina's been playing us this whole time. We can't get in contact with Vegeta's universe, and Kira's all alone in space. What the hell do we do? The horsemen on the universes are fighting the teachers, and their time limit's reached. So, because Frieza doesn't want his top people dead. So then the transporters bring the villains back and then leave the heroes stranded. Because theirs don't work and the villains do. So now all your backups gone. The villains are now back with Frieza. Serena and Ichigo are trying to discuss if they should reach out to Kenshin, who, has been the hero of 2 wars. He's basically their parental big brother, all of that. But they don't want to bring Kenshin in to get the burden of saving the world again. And also they figure that Frieza's after Kenshin's ultimate blade, because if Frieza has the ultimate blade, there's really no one anywhere who could stop him. They both agree that they're going to go save Melissa and get their teachers back, but they don't know how. Before they finalize their plan, a huge explosion happens on the school grounds. Kira realizes that, oh my god, Frieza and them are heading to Earth. So he's trying to zoom from space down to Earth, but he's being stopped by the little jobber spaceships. And Ichigo goes to confront the boom, and Serena goes to save Melissa. The students all get evacuated, and all the town folk, they're in bunkers underground. Ichigo goes, and it's Frieza in his little Frieza pod, you already know what it is, talking that shit. Griffith, the 4 horsemen, Frieza's strongest spaceships, and he's just like, where's the ultimate sword? Ichigo says he doesn't know. Frieza's talking shit about how he outplayed them. They have no way to help. They can't get help from Vegeta's universes because the transporters are down. Everything's down. The teachers are scattered. Ichigo goes to try and fight Frieza. Griffith, Akaza, and Geto and Stain jump him, and he's on the defensive, but Kabuto's staying back. Kira's still trying to come back. He's still in space getting shot up by these things. Serena finds Melissa and asks Irina to put the gun down. Irina jokes, saying, I can't believe the leader of the free world's doing the grunt work with saving Melissa. Irina continues to berate Serena about having so much power and still being a gullible idiot that let Irina be so trusted, which would lead to Lord Frieza winning. Serena asks again Please put the gun down. Let's talk about this. And then Irina gets super annoyed and points the gun at Serena and says, I know normal bullets wouldn't do much, but I have cosmic ones that will kill you if you get shot in the head. Lord Frieza wanted to see you grovel before killing you, but I'll save him the trouble. This was all actually a part of Serena's plan, as now Irina wasn't paying attention to Melissa, who was able to press the sword emoji on her phone, which is also a silent SOS to Kenshin, and hoping it be activated. Irina quickly realizes that, shoots Melissa. Serena blocks it, smacks Irina. Then Irina says she blows up Melissa's office, and all the spare tech there, destroyed. Melissa is saved by Serena, and a knocked out Irina saved by Serena. But Serena realizes the situation's dire. She's like, oof, this is all my fault. They didn't want me to be the leader of the free world. They wanted Kenshin to do it. And now look at that. I'm basically about to get us all killed. And Melissa smacks her, saying that it's not her fault. Her kindness is the reason so many people admire her. And Melissa states that Serena is her hero and she'll lead us through this. Melissa said not all hope is lost, as she's able to get one prototype out of the explosion, a different version of the device that could pull people with their communicators to Serena's location, as her cosmic energy will be a beacon. So basically, in that sense, for the people who watch like X-Men 97, that is Serena's own version of To Me, My X-Men. This was the prototype they were making. If any time Serena was in trouble, she could call her elite squad, the Prevention Task Force, to come help her. Ichigo's trying to fight everybody. He really is. But he realizes that he can't go all out because Frieza hasn't jumped in, because Frieza's just relishing in his victory. And Kabuto has been sitting back. He has not fought a thing. Serena blasts one of Geto's monsters, so she enters the battlefield. Frieza's like, finally the queen shows her face as she's about to lose everything. Now it's time to get serious. And now all the ships point all their guns at the siblings. Frieza tells Kabuto to do it, and Kabuto does, for people who watch Naruto, Ito Tensei, aka reanimation jutsu, and brings back 10,000 Miramum Lelouch clones from the person we killed in Season 1. That was another part of Irina's plan. She was able to get blood from that battle, take it to Frieza. That's how Kabuto joined the elite group, reproduced it, and to make 10,000 of those clones. So you got 10,000 Miramum Lelouch clones, who was the main villain of Season 1, 5 of Frieza's elite task force, Frieza, and all of these ships with all of these foot soldiers. This is bad. Ichigo asked Serena if she got a hold of Kenshin. She said, I don't know if the signal went through. Ichigo's like, damn, this is actually really bad. She tells him after she kills them and takes the school, he's going to get the ultimate sword. Then he's going to go blow up Vegeta's world. Then he's going to go take over everything. Frieza tells one ship to open fire on Serena. And then you hear someone yell, Holy Barrier, Mirror Force. The blast gets redeflected to that ship. And Frieza's annoyed and shocked as 4 portals open behind Serena with Gohan, Yugi, Hashirama, and Jin reappearing. Then you hear a sonic boom burst through the skies, and you see 6 lasers shoot down more of Frieza's ships as Kira finally made it from space. Frieza's annoyed that they found a way back, but says no matter, it's a numbers game. Everyone attack. So you got Frieza's foot soldiers attacking, and everyone knows here, because everyone on this group message can beat some putties. They're basically putties. They're getting their asses whooped. Plus, the problem is every time Kira shoots a ship down from space, because Kira's not killing anyone, he's just destroying the ship, those foot soldiers join the fight. The Ito Tensei Miramums have been enhanced, so they're an issue. Yugi and the first Hokage say leave the clones to them. They'll stop it. Geto attacks Yugi, but his monsters, Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, fight back. The first Hokage is using his wood jutsu to subdue the enemies. The first goes in to kill Kabuto, but can't get near him as he's staying directly with Frieza in this energy barrier. Because with Ito Tensei, you know if you can't get to the user, the person who casted it, it stays on forever. Jin finds Akaza in the chaos, tells him no tricks, no power-ups, no transformations, no god powers, nothing, no demon powers, just hands. And Akaza agrees, and they fight a martial artist to martial artist on the side. Griffin's trying to fight Ichigo. He knows that he can't really beat Ichigo, but he's just trying to annoy him and weaken him. Gohan checks on Serena and says he'll fight Frieza, so Serena can lead and give direction. The heroes are still extremely outnumbered with all the Edo Tenseis, the warriors, the warships, the ghetto monsters. Now the shell ships that Kira was fighting in space are starting to come down to Earth, so there's really no hope. Kabuto and Geto both proclaim that they are a god, and Yugi states, well, the only one who has earned the right to control the gods is me. I summon Slifer the Sky Dragon, and Slifer just instantly starts destroying tons of ships that were coming from space. They're all gone. Geto realizes he can't beat the god, and then he starts getting pissed. And then the first Hokage says, very well, young Yugi, I'll match your energy. And says, Sage Art Wood Style Shinso Senju. Vertebrae 1000 Arm Kanon. Basically, first Hokage, if you know what he does, he summons his super big statue with the 10 million hands. So now you got the 10 million hand statue and Slifer the Sky Dragon going side by side, just starting to clean house. Gohan and Serena combine their attacks to try and destroy the shield that Kabuto and Frieza are in. But that is to no avail. They're starting to get a hold, but then both of them freeze because now they can't move, because throughout all this chaos, they forgot about Stain. Stain was able to cut them from behind and get some of their blood, so now they're immobilized. Frieza shoots the death beams to kill both of them, and they are both deflected by a sword as finally Kenshin has arrived. Frieza calls him a lowly human, tells him to give him the sword. Kenshin says no. Stain then shouts out that this is what he's been waiting for, to see the hero of legend, and attacks him with one move. Kenshin sidesteps him and beats Stain pretty quickly with Soryu Sen. Gohan and Serena are back to normal. Kenshin says that Kira won't last alone in the sky, so Yugi and Slifer need to go to the sky, but Geto has other plans. Yugi is tired of fighting Geto's little curse things, so Yugi tells Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl double dark magic attack, full power, and they blast him and knock him out. Yugi then summons his entire deck to even some of the odds, and then they take to the skies. Gohan and Serena blast through Frieza's barrier, and they start to attack him head on. Kabuto's officially in play on the battlefield. You got Golden Frieza right now for his ultimate Gohan and Sailor Moon. Kenshin tells Ichigo to fall back and help with all the clones. Kenshin jumps in, fights Griffin. Kenshin also makes quick work of Griffin. Ichigo yells out the loudest, gets to get a Tensho of his life to destroy most of the Edo clones. And before they come back, Wood clones come from the ground, hold Kabuto down, and the first Hokage rushes and subdues him, making the Edos go away. And then you hear a loud Thunder Force attack as Yugi yelled, destroying the air fleets, and Kira activated his seed mode and destroyed another section of the fleet. Jin and Akaza are continuing to trade fists. Frieza's fighting Gohan and Sailor Moon, realizes he's lost the advantage, and then really realizes it when Ichigo, Kira, Yugi, and the first Hokage all send attacks his way. Frieza stops fighting, realizes the battle is lost. He stated that the battle was going to be won until Kenshin showed up and gave everyone a morale boost. He said next time he's not even going to waste time, he's going to kill Kenshin first, because that would have an opposite effect on their morale. Frieza says that he has a dimension tech now, so he can go anywhere he wants, and even if Melissa makes sure that they can't come here directly, it doesn't mean that they just can't take the long way and travel here while conquering other worlds before they get here. And he's sure that his warriors will want rematches, and his other warriors at home would want to fight as well. Frieza then states, I'll be back for this planet one day, and the sword, and your life, Kenshin. I will be back one day. The team rejoices, but knows they got lucky because Kenshin showed up when he did. Kenshin states that he didn't really do anything, as they were the ones who found a way to hold him off. He just came in the nick of time. And then the school is still intact. And then with Melissa showing her bravery, because she was the one who was able to contact Serena and Ichigo and press the SOS for Kenshin. She's the first student of this school who then graduated to join the Prevention Task Force as they look to the younger generation for next leaders and next warriors, because they know Frieza will be back. And then once Melissa fixes all of their stuff, they get an SOS from another universe. Some may say this universe is one of Team Martin's friends. And that is it.
That was good.
I'm jealous of it.
Highly
Damn, bro.
impressive.
Talking about-
All right. So this season 2 is 23 episodes. So it's been 6 months since Shikamaru's funeral and the Shadowy Group's message of dominating Tokyo. Natsu, Maki, and Yuta have found more comrades to help them take down the enemy. So they recruited Mei Hatsume, who can build whatever she puts her mind to. Inosuke Hashibira, known for his beast breathing sword style ability. Lee Ju-hee has excellent healing abilities. Mantar Kinnikuman, who is a wrestler who goes by the name of Kid Muscle, with the power of Ultimate Muscle, which is basically a physical state that gives him immense power. They finally get a word back from Itachi and Ban, who left to figure out what the Shadowy Group's plan is. They figure out the name of the group is called the Absolution. So the Absolution is led by Yuhubaha, and his team is of Himiko Toga, who can copy someone's physical appearance, Master Masculine, who's a wrestler who can bulk up through cheers from his super fans. Deira can make explosive clay, and General Tool Criminal can rubberize anything he touches. They plan to find the Black Star Dragon Balls to give Yuhubaha the ultimate power to take over Tokyo. So episodes 1 through 4 are about defeating Himiko Toga, who is defeated by Inosuke. 5 through 8 are against Deidara, who is defeated by Maki. 9 is a comedic, lighthearted episode to give a break in the action. 10 through 13 are against Gentle Criminal, who is defeated by Yuta. 14 through 17 are against Master Masculine, who is defeated by Kid Muscle. And the final episodes are Natsu's fight with Yuhubaha. At the end of episode 22, after the credits roll, one of Absolution's henchmen finds the last Black Star Dragon Balls. So at the beginning of the last episode, so episode 23, Yuhubaha makes his escape so he can complete the ritual to give him the ultimate power. The heroes try to stop him, but in comes the previously defeated Absolution members to stand in their way. Yuhubaha gets his wish granted and now has the ultimate power, and that's how season 2 ends.
Okay. Story time with Nikki, the Don. So, my world for this year is set in the One Piece world. So it's all about ships and traveling. And so the crew has traveled the One Piece world. It started out with just Asta and Yami waking up in a new world, having no idea what's going on. They see all they got is a ship in front of them, and that's it. So they said, fuck it, hopped on the ship, and they start traveling. No sense of direction. They're just going until they see land. Very Black Bulls, Asta, Yami vibes. On this journey, before reaching the new world, they encounter Might Guy and Lady Tsunade, who have also woken up in this world. No idea what's going on. They didn't have a ship. They just were chilling on the island. And as this journey goes, they pick up more allies in the new world. The very first island they reach in the new world, they encounter Kafka Hibino, aka Kaiju number 8. Recruit him to the crew, and the final members that they recruit end up being Gojo Satoru and Chuya. Don't know his last name. He's from Bungo Stray Dogs. Get hit, gravity powers. And now we're gonna fast forward it. They have arrived at the final island of Raftel. True to the One Piece world, that is the final island and my island. And here, it's about to turn into action because all of the villains who are quote unquote working together, but not really, you know, it's just evildoers siding with a common goal of the One Piece. And in this, battles break off. We have Asta and Yami. They're going to battle Blackbeard. And we'll get more in depth with the battles, but just to set the scene, Kaiju number 8, Kafka, he's fighting Kaiju number 9, the villain from his own world. And then Might Guy has the task of taking on Gigantomachia, because don't shit work against him. We need the strongest pure hands fighter. And now, this is probably the biggest battle. Gojo, along with Chuya, because you're not taking down Sukuna with one person. Sorry, Gojo. But it's Gojo and Chuya versus Sukuna. And then the females are obviously going to get their fight. Lady Tsunade versus Lady Irene from the fairy tale world. Get hip, folks. And now you might ask, where's the big bad villain? All for One. We'll get to him. If you watched My Hero, you know he's smart, he's cunning, he bides his time, and that's exactly what he's doing. So now to the battles. It's Asta and Yami versus Blackbeard. The My world, nobody has their powers. It's all devil fruit based. I'm gonna keep it true to the One Piece world. So everybody's powers are devil fruit based. Asta ate the devil fruit that cancels out other devil fruits. Yami, he's got the dark devil fruit. So Yami has the shadow devil fruit, whereas Blackbeard has his dark fruit, true to the story. And essentially, Asta's the only one that's going to be able to take down Blackbeard, since Blackbeard can swallow up other people's devil fruits powers, as referenced in the One Piece show when he fights fucking Ace. And so Yami, he's just there as the tank almost. You know, his power could somewhat cancel out Blackbeard, but not fully. And so Asta and Yami are going ham fighting Blackbeard. And Yami sacrifices his life by tanking Blackbeard's attack so that Asta could get from behind and take out Blackbeard. So Asta and Yami have successfully beaten Blackbeard. While that's going on, Kaiju number 8 is fighting Kaiju number 9. And this one's hairy. Kafka, he's putting in that work. He thinks he's got number 9 on the ropes. He's about to win and move on to go help his crewmates in their fight. But it ain't that easy. After defeating number 8 and starting to walk away, or after defeating number 9 and starting to walk away, he freezes out of fear as number 9 appears bigger, better, and stronger now. And so Kafka's almost out of options. He's got to go. He's got to keep fighting. And then he has an internal monologue with himself as his devil fruit is a beast transformation devil fruit. Kaiju devil fruit, as some would say. And his inner kaiju basically tells him, if you want to beat number 9, you have to give up ever returning to your human form. And so Kafka has that internal struggle, but he knows he has to do it because if he doesn't take down number 9, he's unsure of who would. And so Kafka gives up to the inner kaiju within him and accepts the fate that he'll never be a human again. He'll always be stuck in his kaiju form. And so he's battling number 9, and they both unleash that final attack, and they both collapse to the ground. The winner, undecided. And now we've got Guy versus Gigantomachia going on. And Guy's hitting them, he's got the 6th gate open, doing nothing. He's got the 7th gate open, starting to do a little damage, but Gigantomachia is a fucking tank. Ain't stuff really working on him. And so Guy realizes he's got to release that final gate like he's fighting Madara in his world. And so he does. He releases the eighth gate, kills Gigantomachia like that. Thank you for coming, brother. Now we've got Gojo and Chuya fighting Sukuna, and it's not going well. Sukuna's got Sukuna's got all his stuff. They haven't done anything to make him weaker. They're just going mano y mano, 1v1, well, 2v1. And if you guys don't know, Chuya's power is gravity. That's what he does. He's got the gravity fruit, so he manipulates gravity. So it's him and Gojo. Gojo's got the six eyes devil fruit. We're gonna keep it simple for him. So Gojo's got all his abilities. Chuya manipulates gravity, and they're fighting Sukuna. Uh, this battle's intense as Sukuna has killed Chuya halfway through, so now Chuya's gone, and now it's Gojo versus Sukuna. And Gojo, essentially, he releases all of his power. He's going full 100%, limitless, all that shit. And it's still not doing anything to Sukuna. Until Asta arrives and joins the fight, replacing Chuya, where his abilities are now nullifying Sukuna's dismantle and slash and his freaking fire attack. And they turn the tables and ultimately take out Sukuna. And Lady Tsunade versus Irene, this is Lady Tsunade. Her devil fruit is the healing devil fruit. So she's a healer and she's just insanely strong versus Irene, who has the magic devil fruit, where she's got control over essentially all magic. Like she could use any type of magic. And so now this is the typical mage versus fighter battle. And Irene releases a big attack. Lady Tsunade tanks it as she's released her whatever that diamond is on her forehead. That power. Can't remember. Don't come at me in the comments. And takes out Irene. And so now all the villains are defeated. We've got Asta. We've got Gojo. We've got Lady Tsunade all chilling, still alive. They're making their way on the island of Raftel ahead, wondering what's going on. Because they can feel a presence. They just feel evil, darkness lurking. And all of a sudden, the big bad All for One comes out. He's broken the One Piece world. He's got multiple devil fruits. He's got all the shit. Whereas these guys, they just got one devil fruit, one power. And literally Asta, Gojo, and Lady Tsunade fight All for One for hours and hours, getting nowhere because All for One is just, he's too powerful. He's got too much shit. And they're already tired from their battles with Blackbeard, Sukuna, and Irene. And then that's when Lady Tsunade remembers she's got one sensu bean and she has to decide who's gonna get it, Asta or Gojo. And Gojo lets her know, give it to Asta. He's our only hope. And so she gives it to Asta, and Asta is full power again. He's going 100% devil mode. He's got his swords. And so now it's him versus All for One, with Gojo just providing support and Lady Tsunade. She's just on the sidelines now. She's trying to heal some of the fallen members, like Kafka, see if he's still alive. And after hours of fighting and Gojo sacrificing himself to create an opening for Asta to attack All for One, we finally defeated the big bad villain, and the crew has claimed the One Piece. Finito.
My story still continues to follow Toru Honda. And if you listen to the prologue, essentially, she's had a weird encounter with who we know as the audience or as Sailor Moon fans know as Black Lady during Toru's full-time job after graduating high school. She's working at like a bakery slash department store where she runs into Black Lady, and her best pal, Luna, shares a secret with her and an item, very important item, the silver crystal. Luna lets her know that that is something she's going to be needing going forward in her life. Toru kind of doesn't really have any context of what it's for, but she's just kind of chilling there. All right, I have this now. Thank you, Luna. She's continuing about her ordinary life. Momo from season 1 is going to school at S University in Tokyo, still comes to visit Toru all the time. Momo brings by one of her new classmates, ironically, who is also one of Toru's part-time co-workers, Nobara Kugisaki. They all become fast friends. And during one of their random, outings, hanging out in the store, heading home, they encounter a shadowy figure by the name of Ikuto Tsukuyomi. He's kind of odd in the sense that he seems to be trying to stay hidden, but he stands out like a sore thumb with his blue hair, being 6 foot tall. Anyway, basically they see him interacting with some college students, high school students, and all of a sudden they see something really strange happen. There's a light that glows from the students that suddenly disappears as he moves from his hand into his pocket. So they're very confused by what they just saw. And out of nowhere, a different S University student that Momo and Nobara don't really know, by the name of Kuropika Kurta, jumps out and starts attacking Ikuto. So the girls are like, what the hell is going on? Let's break up this fight. Whatever. And Ikuto gets away, and Kuropika is pissed. He's like, you've just gotten in the way of my revenge. How dare you? The whole song and dance. So we go into his backstory where he explains to the girls what happened is that the students had essentially their dreams, their heart's dreams in crystal form stolen from them by Ikuto, which is something that happened to Kuropika's best friend and many of his other classmates growing up in the rural parts of Japan. He says Ikuto works for this company, I believe following the Shugochara story, I believe it's called the Easter Company. So we're just going to keep that name, keep it simple. Where essentially thereafter, their goal is to try to find a very specific heart dream crystal that is able to grant wishes. And they plan to do so either by just finding somebody's heart crystal that just is that, or by manually combining these crystals in a large sum to try to create one, similar to Full Metal's Philosopher's Stone. So Toru, Momo, Nobara have decided that they're going to help Kuropika in his quest to bring down this company, but they still kind of don't know how exactly they're going to go about doing this. Toru still remembers Biscuit Nen teachings, her very basic hand-to-hand combat, but Toru's always been a bit of a physical weakling. So she goes to visit Biscuit and get some more training. And during that time, Biscuit notices hey, Toru, there's a different aura about you. There seems to be something going on. And Toru just takes out of her pocket. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, Luna gave me this crystal. And Biscuit freaks out and is like, that's what it is. That has an awesome power to it. So I'll keep training you. But my guess is in situations where you need it, this crystal is going to help guide you. So they're still all, kind of going about their business. Kurapika's trying to, still focus on his studies, but also investigate the Easter company. During this time, Toru actually starts getting closer to another one of her coworkers by the name of Aoyama Yuga, or Yuga Aoyama. And they get buddy. He's a bit of an eccentric character, and he's really curious as to why Toru's like really trying to train up for seemingly no reason, because outside looking in, she just goes home and goes to work. So what is she trying to train for? And during this time, they start having individual encounters either during the day or at night, running into either Ikuto, Isabella, or Black Lady in kind of like one-off little either group fights or one-on-one fights. And in the very first one-on-one fight, we see Toru by herself against Isabella from the Promised Neverland. All of a sudden, Toru's crystal activates and she starts feeling powers surge through her. And all of the crystals that Isabella has just stolen react to Toru's. And once Isabella's defeated, they all just, rise up and just disappear out of sight. So essentially, the crystals, those heart dream crystals, have all returned back to their original owners. And I did forget to mention that, like, the outcome of losing your heart dream crystal is essentially you become dispassionate, you lose your lust for life, and kind of the whole dead behind the eyes adult type situation, that you no longer have something you're striving for, you no longer have a greater hope beyond, just going from one day to the next. Kind of think that Squidward episode where it's like, oh, I'm living in Squidward land and doing all the things that I think I like doing, but it's just monotonous, that type of feeling. But anyway, so unfortunately, even as a team, when there is a group fight, Toru's crystal is strong enough to be able to transform Momo and Nobara as well. Kurapika, unfortunately, the maximum for that crystal is just 2 other people. Kurapika generally is the 4th person on site. However, he does have his Nen abilities slightly less strong than in Hunter x Hunter, of course. I got to nerf him a little bit for this time and place. But he also still has his hand-to-hand combat skills, which come into play. The more they run into Ikuto, the more they get the gist that he's kind of involved, but he doesn't have like a driving force. Like Isabella is about getting those crystals. That is her mission. Ikuto seems to be like, if I get them, all right. If I lose them, oh well, sounds good. You guys beat me. Peace out. And slowly but surely, they start getting a little bit more of his backstory when they run into him in the daytime. Because again, Toru works at a very popular bakery department store in the area. And it comes out that essentially he's only doing this because he's being blackmailed by the owner of the Easter company. And so eventually, in these skirmishes and discussions, he eventually has a change of heart and switches sides and basically becomes a double agent. And during that time, he actually mentions to Toru and the company that they actually have a spy among them, because the Easter company is getting a lot of tips about, who they are, who their family is, what they do, what their schedules are, and things of that nature, and where to find them. So then that's a second subplot of all of this is like, okay, who's leaking this information? Most everybody new comes into question. So the newest people to the gang are Nobara, Kurapika. Winry Rockbell is also somebody who floats in and out a little bit as a classmate of everybody at S University. She's also taken a liking to Toru and noticed that Toru seems to be very drained and seems to have a lot of bruises and scratches randomly. So Winry is involved in the story in helping to make more, think like chainmail instead of automail outfits for Toru to wear underneath her clothing so that way she doesn't get hurt as much. So Winry comes into question, but is very quickly ruled out because why would she be, protecting unless that's coming from a guilty conscience? So Momo's overthinking it. Nobara thinks Winry is good to go. Another supporting character in all of this is Shoto Todoroki. He's someone that is really good friends with Kurapika. They became really good friends in school. He's involved in the sense that he's there for a couple fights, but not too many. He is there for the final fight and is actually there during when Momo and Nobara are incapacitated. So he actually gets like a magical boy transformation out of Toru's crystal, since it can transform up to 3 people. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So they run into Isabella on that second skirmish. They're able to defeat her, and she lets slip the name of the person who runs Easter. And that person is none other than Ikuto's stepdad. So that's part of where the blackmail comes in, and why Ikuto can't escape his quote unquote duty to continue stealing dream heart crystals. With that information, they are able to look up the location of the Easter headquarters, because they have a lot of like little dummy corporations throughout Tokyo. So they were hitting essentially the wrong spots when they were going looking for this guy. When they come upon the actual headquarters, we find out who the mole was. And true to canon, spoiler alert for my hero, it was Aoyama. He actually was planted there after Black Lady had sent something was off when she ran into Toru at that bakery department store towards the very beginning of this whole story. She must have sensed Toru's proximity to the silver crystal through Luna, through her contact with Luna. And so she sent Aoyama there to spy on them. Shoto makes quick work of Aoyama. No big deal. They bust in. Black Lady is there. And essentially that is the final actual physical battle, because Black Lady has her own silver crystal. However, it's gone dark. So as the battle rages and continues, essentially the idea is Toru's silver crystal, the purity and the light and the power coming from that crystal overpowers Black Lady's. And after this altercation, the silver crystal is actually able to cleanse Black Lady's crystal. And so she actually reverts back to Chibiusa, Serena's daughter. They finish storming the building, run into Mr. CEO himself, Kazuomi Hoshina. Ikuto is there defending his stepdad. That was not much of a fight. And essentially, they attack Mr. Hoshina, and he, spills the beans about why he's doing this. he has a daughter who's in a coma, so he believes that, you know, stealing all of these heart dream crystals will grant him that wish, and he was going to bring her, you know, out of her coma with that wish. Being touched by this, Toru asks to go visit her, and using what's left of the power of the silver crystal, she is able to wake Hoshina's daughter out of that coma. And so basically, the Easter Company shuts down. All of the Heartstream crystals that are remaining are returned back to who they were stolen from. Unfortunately, there were some that could not be returned because they had been destroyed during testing to try to create like the ultimate heart dream crystal that would have granted a wish. And for that, Hoshina has turned himself into the police. Of course, ordinary police are not aware of all of this stuff happening. So he actually turns himself in for tax evasion to pay for his crimes of, you know, stealing the joy and dreams of many in Japan. And his daughter is then, you know, able to visit him in prison, but is raised by her much older stepbrother, Ikoto. And everyone else goes back to kind of an ordinary life. Our S university students continue their studies. Toru has come to the realization that she's like, you know what, I have a passion for helping others. So she's decided to start studying for the college entrance exam so she can become a social worker of some sort. And Isabella is also jailed as part of the conspiracy to commit tax evasion. And Black Lady has reverted back down to a child. So she's been adopted by Toru's family to help raise her correctly, or help keep her from turning dark like she did this last time. And Kurapika gets his, you know, revenge. He is a little mad that Hoshina did not die, but he's satisfied with the results of everything. Biscuit's just, you know, chilling, having her sensei moment after it all happens. And yeah, that's my story. That's where season 2 ends.